Welcome back to Hip Hop and Fashion. I'm Mr. Wayne, and we have some special guests in the show, Pastor Ty Waviers of Grace of Faith Family Fellowship, and Mr. Mike Samuel of Grace of Faith Fellowship, Grace and Faith Family Fellowship. And I just want to, what brings you gentlemen here today?
Well, we're here just to come on and share with everyone the subject of talking about young adults. Mm-hmm. We're excited and thankful for Cox and this channel, Access Channel 76, for having us and bringing us on. But we really want to kind of discuss, if we can, just what's going on with young adults today.
All right.
And there's some things that we're doing to address the challenges that young adults may be having, in urban communities, especially as it relates to religion and the church, and why so many young people are not attracted to the church today.
Gotcha.
In terms of what's going on that's causing them not to run the churches on Sunday morning. What are the pros? What are the cons? And so we'd like to try to kind of give our view of that, and also to let them know what we have to offer as well.
Okay, well, I would like to, in terms from your take, what are some of the pros and the cons of being fellowship and living a Christian life?
Well, I mean, the reality is that we know statistically and what we're looking at during the week and on Sunday mornings when we look at church attendance, that very often young folks are spending a lot of times out in the clubs and on the streets on Saturday nights, on Friday nights. But once again, there was in the past, we think there was a reverence about young people in terms of them they would honor coming to church and coming to fellowship on Sunday mornings. And we're seeing just a serious drop off as it relates to what their mindset is about church, about religion, about their relationship with God. And there's just this big drop off as it relates to their attendance and then addressing or embracing this whole subject of religion.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine, well, I can't answer for every youngster out there, but I would imagine that some of the reasons for the drop off could be possibly because of the stigma that, well, when I get right, that's when I go. And I want to ask either of you, is that a myth or is that a truth? You don't come into the acceptance of being a Christian. You can't do that till you're totally right.
Well, I think I think the mindset, and then Mike can probably speak a little bit better than I can. I tell you what, why don't you tell me what you think the mindset is of being a young adult and some of the challenges that even you may have come up again in terms of your witness to them, for them to embrace the church, to embrace spirituality, to embrace a relationship with Jesus Christ Himself.
Well, I know, in the past I've been speaking with peers, how a lot of times they think, it's either they don't want to give the pastor, they feel like they're giving the pastor all their money. That's one of the main things. They don't. That's something that, if you're coming out of college or high school, you got a job and you have responsibilities, it just doesn't seem to add up in some churches. Another thing is, the pastors don't seem to relate to the children well, or to the youngsters well. And it's almost as if a youngster may feel like somebody's talking about something that the pastor doesn't understand them, doesn't understand their struggle, doesn't understand some of the stuff that they have to go through every day, especially as men, coming up. So a lot of times, we see, another thing you see a lot is a lot of finger pointing. When you get in churches, the pastor's saying, don't do this, don't do that. And in a lot of churches, these pastors are suffering from some of the same problems that a lot of these,
wow.
kids, youngsters are facing. So it's like it's a turn off to somebody trying to give their life over to Christ when they see their example being maybe as bad as them and condemning them of something that they may have been doing or they did in the past as well.
Right. So I guess basically you kind of answered that question where in terms of you don't necessarily turn your life over to Christ or walk the Christian life after you have it together, because if you had it together there would not be a need for Christ. So
I think I said this joke the other day that somebody said that they were looking for the perfect church, and the challenge with that is that when they find it, now the church isn't perfect anymore.
Because they're not perfect. They didn't make the perfect church imperfect.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, one of the things that we do in our ministry at Grace and Faith Family Fellowship in terms of embracing this issue that young adults may have in terms of the challenges with sin, the challenges with living right, the challenges with not living in fornication, the challenges with not living in adultery, the challenges with looking at your resources and bringing your resources first to God. One of the things that our ministry at Grace and Faith is based upon, it's a grace teaching. First of all, we teach the Word of God.
I hate it. What is grace? We have some people that watch this show that may not know what you're talking about.
For our viewers, what grace is? Grace is Calvary. Grace is the cross. And the simple definition of it would be, grace is what we considered it's whereby it's unmerited favor, where you get blessed by God and there's nothing that you've done to deserve it. That God blesses you and his blessings are not based upon what you do. You can't earn blessings from God.